We live in an ecosystem built entirely on performative positivity. Every day, you endlessly orbit the demand to optimize your life, find your purpose, and perfectly inspire yourself before taking a single step forward. The underlying assumption is that you need to be completely whole, emotionally resolved, and fully ready before you make any significant decision. This creates what we can call the deferral mechanism. Seeking out motivation feels like work, but waiting to feel motivated is actually a highly effective way of deferring the decision you have already made not to act. The entire self-help industry thrives in this specific space. It manufactures endless steps and promises, substituting emotional reassurance for actual responsibility. But when you take these motivational frameworks and apply them to real-world friction, they evaporate. The moment genuine responsibility appears, reassurance has absolutely nothing left to offer. Demanding constant emotional clarity before you move guarantees perpetual paralysis. Inaction becomes the default choice, comfortably disguised as preparation. If we step away from external cultural pressures and look inward, we see people building elaborate internal environments just to avoid friction. A common tactic is the aggressive pursuit of quiet. This diagram shows the structural difference between true peace and mere avoidance. We have a vibrating line representing internal tension and a smooth box representing silence. When you enforce silence, you simply wrap around the conflict. You contain it. Over time, mistaking that quiet for resolution extracts a heavy psychological cost. Avoidance is an active choice. By keeping tension unspoken, silence actively preserves the exact conflict the person is trying to escape. Eventually, the illusion breaks. You hit an uncomfortable realization that nobody is coming to fix things, and no perfectly timed burst of inspiration will intervene. Up until that moment, you have likely been relying on a rescue narrative. This is a subconscious belief that either an outside savior or some future perfected version of yourself will step in and resolve your internal fragmentation. Looking at this flowchart, a path moves from current state to action across a glowing bridge of psychological expectation. When that expectation is removed, the bridge dissolves, causing immediate cognitive freefall. The vacuum is terrifying, but the floor solidifies into solid, uncomforted reality. The complete collapse of these expectations is the strict prerequisite for uncovering your actual personal agency. Standing in this new vacuum without a rescue narrative leaves you highly aware of your own internal state. For most people, the dominant sensation here is feeling fragmented or broken. Wholeness is constantly sold to us as a destination, and its absence is treated as a defect. But internal fragmentation is a permanent, structural condition of human identity. It is not a temporary pathology you need to cure. When you examine the mechanics of anxiety in this state, the fragmentation itself does not cause the pain. The relentless demand for internal coherence is the actual source of your psychological distress. Once you accept that, you enter an entirely new operational reality. You are now living and making choices without any moral framing, without guarantees, and without promises of relief. Responsibility changes shape here. When you know no one is coming, responsibility ceases to be a heavy burden placed upon you by others. It becomes the literal, unavoidable ground you stand on. This introduces a concept we call agency without optimism. You develop the capacity to evaluate facts and make decisions without requiring a positive emotional outlook to fuel you. You can execute complex, forward-moving actions while remaining completely internally fractured and unresolved. Your identity does not need to be tidy for your actions to be effective. True, unshakable agency is born precisely at the boundary where expectation, hope, and the need for comfort end. You will have to move forward without a finished self. The pieces of your identity might grind against each other, but they can still lock together to form an immovable foundation. You do not need inspiration, you do not need permission, and you permanently do not need to feel ready to take control of your life. The illusion is over. It is time to step into responsibility. You can explore the exact mechanics of this reality in the core text. Nothing is coming to save you.